first episode of PB&J Off Road. You got to remember the and in there. I tend to forget the and every once in a while, so it's PB&J Off Road.
Right, just like on a menu.
Just on the menu. How many PB&Js do you see on the menu?
Well, everywhere.
Everywhere?
You gotta look at the kids menu.
They're probably on the kids menu. So I'm Lance Pyle.
Robert Biggs,
and
hence the P and the B.
And then the Jeeps are the J. And so we started wheeling maybe 2 years ago, year and a half ago. And we are actually neighbors. And so every time we go out wheeling, we talk about Jeeping, and every time we go out, we talk about Jeeps. And so this has kind of become life outside of work, our Jeeps. And so we help each other work on our Jeeps. We bounce a lot of stuff off each other, which is kind of nice. So Robert, how'd you get started in Jeeping?
Well, I actually had this Jeep for a while. It was just a driver. It was we bought it for my daughter, and can't remember the year, maybe 12. So, had it. She had gone off to college. It wasn't good for her to drive, so we started driving it. Now, going back further, my son had been many vehicles, four-wheeled, off-roading, doing things. So I kind of liked it when I went with him. Kind of got a little itch in there, and then had decided I was gonna start working on it and get it trail ready for off-roading. And then that was 19, the end of 19, because right when I started or thought about it, I had joined the Mud Rats Club. My son was into it a while back. I decided I wanted to do something different. If I didn't have a hobby, gosh, who knows what. I got the lift on, and then after I got the lift and the tires, I started trying to do some things to give me a little more, clearance and flex and everything. So the fenders were next. One of the things I'll say about this whole experiment is that kind of like life in general, Jeeps are the same way. I wish I knew now I wish I knew then what I know now, because as you build and do these things, you look back to say, oh, if I'd only done this, or I should have done that. So, a lot of things looking at it that way, but I would have done a little different with my fenders, a little higher type thing, but that's down the road. But anyway.
That's going to be probably a constant theme of, if I would have or could have, I would have done it differently, right?
That's right. Yep.
I know that feeling.
While we're doing this, is we're just trying to do something for the average Joe. I just consider us average Joes with Jeeps. We're not mall crawlers.
So what's a mall crawler? We regularly talk about this when we're off the trail, sitting by the campfire, whatever, and where the challenges that we faced on one trail, we're like, well, if we did this, then we could do that. And then we're like, hold on, well, that changes the scope. Then do we become daily drivers, mall crawlers,
right,
rock crawlers? So what's a mall crawler?
Well, I always look at a mall crawler as, when we go to Jeep shows or outings, they're beautiful Jeeps, everything, ton of money put on them, and they've never been off the pavement in their life. So, and hey, I'd love to have one if that was my thing. They look great. But, I think we're part of that piece of what we do. We want to look decent. We want to have a decent looking rig, but we're not going to win the best of show at any contest with our Jeeps by any means.
And then we both have daily drivers. So I think that kind of speaks for itself, right? Daily driver is what?
Yeah, I would,
a
daily driver,
what, right?
Well, I see yours is a little more daily driver than mine. That's probably because you live a little closer to work, your daily work most of the time. But we want to be able to drive them, on the road, on the weekend, to work, whatever, on a great day. So, we can't build anything, or I don't want to build anything that I can't get tagged, that I don't feel safe, going down the road at 65 miles an hour, So that's definitely part of what we, our process, I think. So, we want to be a piece of the daily driver. We want to have a little piece of the mall crawler, for sure.
And you want a little piece of the rock crawler.
So
what's the rock crawler? What's the next step? I would say for me to understand it, and again, my limited wheeling experience would be you have the mall crawler. You actually really have that stock Jeep where people really done nothing, maybe tweaked it just a little bit. And then you have the mall crawler they've invested everything into it but have never taken it off road.
Correct.
They flex on the curb.
Yes. We have a ton of those in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, a bunch of them.
And then you have the daily driver, which also does more off-roading, weekend warrior, whatever you want to call it. And then there's the rock crawler. And to me, that's the buggy. That's the next step up, right?
You do a lot of work on it. You want to see what it can do. I mean, you like to go out and test it and see how big a hill you can climb, how big a rock, how much it'll take. You put a little pride in it that's where it is. So I think we're more we're not just trailers, we're not overlanders, but we're, like I say, I think we're a little piece of all that, which is, what our channel is about. And, we're not mechanics.
One thing I've learned is try to look at the way I'm building for what I want to do, not for what I am doing today. So as I look to where I want to go 37s and what's it going to take to go to 37? So I need to re-gear. I was at a 4.1, so I re-geared to a 4.13. I mean a 5.13. So that was one. To get to, I want to work towards getting the big brakes, the axles. That was one of the things for me. I really wanted the RCVs, and when I wanted them, they weren't available. So we were wheeling. We were going out of town to Arkansas, Alabama and Arkansas that trip. So I needed something. So I had to put in chrome alloys. So what's your wheeling, off-roading? Where would you say from beginning, novice, expert? Where do you feel you fall in that range?
Oh, I would put myself probably maybe pushing towards the middle. Again, I think that's how I would put it, working towards the middle of that range. Got a lot of things I can still learn about the vehicle to do and work on, and that I would like to do, and then getting more confident on the trails of that ability to wheel. So I would say working towards middle. Long way to go from an expert, that's for damn sure. So look, if you're looking for an expert, don't look. We're not the people. Okay? We're somebody you can learn from, about a mistake. Hey, don't do what they did, or and really that's sort of what we're looking at, is just sharing some things we've learned, or maybe we want to try.
That's the other thing too about wheeling, and I think I don't want to call it challenging, but there's a thought process to how you approach it. Some people, I get it. Some people are just gonna hit it and tear it apart. And we've seen ones break their axles. We've seen ones do damage to their gears. I think they got into a point where they've just broken it, and it's like,
I'm not one of those that want to go just rushing up through anything. That's why I prefer going with I don't like to go with, this doesn't mean to sound bad, but I don't want to go with all beginners, because then I don't get to challenge myself enough.
Yeah.
I like to go with people that have a little more than me, a little more experience than me, and I like to watch what they're doing, because then I was like, hey, hell, if he can do that, I think I can do that. I just need someone to pave the way a little bit. But and again, the way we do it, I think is pretty good with the size we go with and where we've been.
Yeah, I would say too, for being a newbie once, there's probably a couple ways I could approach it. One, I could have approached it in a very scared manner and said, I'm never doing this again.
Bypass.
The bypass. The other way I looked at it was, I was with a bunch of experience, I wouldn't say experience, but people that knew more than me, had done it a lot longer than I have. I got to watch them, and they would do. I got behind somebody that was good, and knew the trails that we were on, so I got to kind of follow his lines and learn from that. So watching somebody else's lines, staying in their path, trying to just follow the leader through the trail, that was helpful. And then knowing what my limits were at the time to say, I'm just gonna take the bike, push the limits a little bit, and then taking the lead when we go out, that helped me then start to see different lines differently. It's also weird because sometimes when I get to a point, I'm like, I have no idea what's on the other side, and I'm gonna stop and look before I drop.
Yeah, I think definitely I would say I know when to say when. I don't necessarily want to break it. I don't go out looking to break things. I tend it's not
Really? Really?
I have broke plenty of things, but that's not my goal. But you know, again, I do like to see what it can do and push and try and keep up. And so I think the group, the balance, being smart, you know, most of what we do with our group, like I said, we've seen some things that we just look at and go, nah. That's no TJ's getting over that by any means. So, you know, and more power. That's buggy stuff for those people that think they could go. I mean, you know, we look at what was it? It was Alabama, Stony Lonesome. I mean, anybody said they did Gutbuster in the last 3 years? Bullshit. I'm calling it.
Yeah, I want to see video.
I want to see him get over that hill. With, you know, because I mean, I wouldn't even. We looked at it. I wouldn't even trust my winch to pull me over that hill. It was that bad.
And you're going to put all your trust in the winch because you're going to be up on that winch the whole right way up.
And I mean up. You know, that thing was, now they've since leveled it out. You know, they got smart and leveled it out where it's now what it should be on the badge. But
looking at all your mods, if you were to say I would change that one, if I was to do it again, which would you change?
Well, you know, again, it depends on how you look at that, because I think, you know, money always has some play in whatever you're doing. I think the only thing, the other issue that when I built mine, and I know this is going to sound weird, but this Jeep stays in the garage, so I built it to make sure I could get it in the garage. So I only had a limited amount of height that I could get. So, you know, that was in mind. But I think there's some things I would definitely look at doing over. Again, assuming maybe money wasn't a total concern, but I would probably look at how I did my shocks. Maybe just go straight out of the gate with something coil over, something really nice. I would have probably got more aggressive in re-gearing right away to do that also. And then probably the cheapest things I have are my bumpers. I would definitely look at maybe investing, especially in that rear bumper, because that thing makes the worst noise. You know, it's awful, and it just, whatever I do, it gets worse.
I think they all make a noise.
I mean, it rattles. There's something about, well, I don't know, China doesn't believe in, you know, noise reduction, but you know, I knew that was a problem when I got the bumper, that it was cheap, but so that's probably somewhere. As I look at sites now, I think about that. So what do you think? What are we doing with this whole YouTube thing? What are we thinking? Why are we doing it? What do you
To
see?
me, it's helping others, novice. You know, I mean, we're no experts. We're not here to be an expert. I think everybody's got. I think the thing that's neat about the Jeep community is all Jeeps have their personality based on what their owner wants. And so for me, that's a cool thing to put my personality in my Jeep, but it's also being able to take it off-road and be part of an off-road community and kind of learn from that. There's been YouTubers before that I've learned from, and it's been helpful. It's been good, and so I would say being a part of that and just kind of growing and learning and bringing people along and ask questions. You got some questions, put those in the comments. Let us try to answer them or send you somewhere else or whatever that may be. Yeah, I think for us it's a trial and error, right?
It is. I mean,
just working these cameras is trial and error for the two of us.
that's an adventure in itself. I mean, hey, respect to all these guys that have been doing this stuff, because you learn real fast. We've been in the process for a very short time, and the badge trails and kind of, you know, figuring out what we want to do from those things. And hey man, they
That's
can
the other
do
thing
it.
we want to
Why
bring
not?
you is we want to bring you the trails.
Right.
We want to bring you the badge trails. A lot of times I watch a badge trail and I only get a little piece of it. I like to see more of the trail, maybe get more of an understanding of what the challenges were in the trail, help me prepare for the trail. I know when we go out, we do a lot of prep work kind of before, kind of get an understanding of what the trails are, what the prep work, and then so we get there, it kind of makes the trip a lot easier.
The other thing that I think will be different about our channel, and we'd like to, and maybe you'll enjoy it watching, is our wives are usually with us on most of our big
Yep.
trips.
Yep.
So, you know, this is not just two old dudes out driving their Jeeps around everywhere. Our wives are involved, and we do a lot of camping when we go. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you'll see what I envision is, you know, you'll get not just us on the trails the whole time, or, you know, watching nothing but trails. We're going to do some, you know, we're going to film around the campfire about the camping things we do, about how you, I mean, man, I don't know about you guys, you folks, but one of the big challenges, how do I get my wife involved and want to be out in the woods, you know, in a bathhouse, or, you know, limited electricity, or going up hills that are, you know, wait a minute. Now, we do have a couple wives that don't mind filming. They don't mind getting out of the Jeep to film, which is nice.
Yeah, well, it's even the wheeling part. You know, I know mine. She gets real nervous on it.
Yeah.
You know, Kim gets real nervous on the trail, so you know, for her to go and support me in that, I appreciate. But at the same time, I'm sure she would rather be doing something else. But
well, and to that point, you know, I think that'll be a big thing of our channel here. This ain't just about wheeling. This is about the whole process. And for the, like I say, the guy that, you know, we're not going out every weekend to go rock crawling and doing buggy stuff. We don't live near trails. Where we're at, we're 3+ hours from everything. There's nothing close.
Yep.
But we want to show how we incorporate all aspects to, you know, to make it an adventure, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we did the, you know, Alabama trip, Stony Lonesome, and then, you know, we went through Memphis. We stayed in Memphis for 3 days or whatever, and had nothing to do with wheeling. We hit Bill Street. We, you know, we had fun. We had things other than just
Barbecue.
7, 8, 9, 10 days in the woods.
Yep.
Because that's not flying in my house. That's pushing the limit. Even for me, you know, that's pushing the limit. So we learn to break it up. We do different things, you know, even you know, everywhere we've been on a trip. And kudos to Lance for he's a planner. He plans that. He gets it's you know, we got something going.
Anytime too, by the way.
We I mean, he's good at it, so it works out well, you know. So I mean, but we don't just stay on a trail for 3 or 4 days. I mean, I mean, when we went to Hot Springs, part of, you know, a day was going to the hot springs, right, and seeing a little bit of the town. I mean, you got to do it. You're there. And we want to get that on there, and you know, that the spouses maybe appreciate that and helps them, you know, I won't say tolerate. I think they actually enjoy the wheeling more than they would admit. It's just they can't really appreciate 5 or 6 days in a row of wheeling. You know,
I think it's like the journey, right?
Yeah.
I think if we can bring you along on the journey, and hopefully you enjoy it as much as we do. So the other thing, we don't have one here or two here, but you have to keep your eyes open for a PB&J.
It's a little, you know,
they will show up, and we will do an episode just on the PB&J.
Yeah.
Just that's what we'll cover.
We just wanted to tell y'all a little bit about what the heck we're doing and why. Why are you following these guys? I mean, come on.
So make sure, come back. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you want to see something specific, please put in the comments. We'll try to get back to those comments, or at least add something to the content that you've added. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. Like Robert said, it's going to be along a large range of just Jeeps and wheeling, the journey, the camping. Right behind this is an Overlander. We'll probably go through that. On the truck, you'll see that I'm getting ready to start small build on that. You'll see some of my horrible welding abilities.
And you'll see
Soon.
me standing over his shoulder watching.
Yeah. We're going to get him on the welder. Well,
Yeah.
Maybe he's probably better at it than me. He just doesn't
No.
want to admit it. But
But you
thanks
got to
for,
learn somewhere.
Yeah.
So, all right.
thanks for watching,
Peace.
and come back. Join us again. Thank you.